Good evening, folks. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. Eastern. It is time for your Big Gold Belt Wrestling podcast, and we have a busy week in wrestling with all kinds of stuff going on. We have Survivor Series Wargames last weekend in San Diego. We'll start out with that and all the happenings there, from John Cena and Dominic to 2 Wargames matches and all kinds of other stuff. Then I can't even believe this is happening. This is stuff I never would have imagined, but as we've said many times on this show, TNA will never die, and TNA has a new home, and we're going to talk about that because January 2026 is going to be interesting for TNA wrestling. We're going to talk about that tonight. Plus NXT Deadline this weekend, folks. So much going on. Stay with us. Your Big Old Belt Wrestling podcast starts right now.
Big old belt, 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 big old belt. All I really want is that big old belt, 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 big old belt. All I really need is that big old belt.
Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for being with us here tonight on the Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. We just got 2 of us tonight, but it is the editor-in-chief and myself, Will. On the right side of your screen, Najir Chambers is here with me, the head of Big Gold Belt Media. So we're going to have a fun time tonight. We got lots to get into. We don't have all the crew tonight. We have not had you and me one-on-one in quite some time on this show.
This is true. Very excited. Very excited.
There you go. This will be an interesting show, folks. We got some interesting things happening in wrestling this
You got
week.
me so hyped to talk TNA. I'm mad it's the second topic now.
We got to talk Survivor Series first. Then
Yeah,
we'll get to TNA. This might be our biggest TNA show in a long time, considering what they got cooked up out of nowhere this week. But first things first, Survivor Series. Let's go back to Survivor Series this past Saturday in San Diego. Highlighted by, as it's been these past couple years, Wargames. 2 Wargames matches on the show, and also a John Cena Dominic match and a Stephanie Bakir and Nikki Bella match for the women's title. Before we even get into the matches, I think my biggest thing coming out of this show was, man, if it didn't get some mixed reactions from people. And I'm not sure what to think of that.
I tell you right now, San Diego is a beautiful city. I love it. I go every year. I walked across that field for my master's degree. I would never have a bad thing to say, even with all the homeless people out there and the array of craziness I have seen and experienced. I love San Diego. I cannot believe that anybody will have anything negative to say about them getting an event in a city that has lost their football team, that pretty much isn't a destination for anything but Comic-Con at this rate, and obviously just the beautiful beaches in the city itself. But I mean, like, for sporting events or concerts, like, really people aren't really going out to San Diego for these things, because you get that close to San Diego, people just go to Mexico for something, or you just go right up to LA, or you just go to Vegas. But like San Diego, beggars can't be choosers, folks. Like, at this rate, be thankful that you got something here going on in the city. The mixed reactions is chaos. Complete chaos.
Funny. It's really funny because, I mean, there were 45,000 people there. You can't beat the San Diego weather. It was the first Survivor Series ever in a stadium. And my God, they made use of that. All those shots I saw with the sun setting and all this, they were having some fun on the production side, trying to make that look like cinematic, video game style, with like the sun going down and the water in the background. It's like, I mean, vibe and just looks wise, the presentation was amazing for that show. I mean, it was on par with the WrestleMania as far as
have you been to San Diego before?
I've been to San Diego, but I've never been to like a show in San Diego. I've been to San Diego. San Diego, you cannot beat the weather in San Diego at all.
70 degrees, no humidity any day of the year. But yeah, you're right, because I was asking, because like the presentation wasn't heightened because of it being the WWE event. That is just as organic as it is. And they just was like, oh, well, if it's right here, we might as well utilize it. So like you got the vibes already in place. You got the scenery, the sunset, the beaches is right, the Coronado Islands right there. And then you got a premium live event, one of the most prestigious in one of the best gimmick matches of all time. I am trying to figure out where the negativity in this stems from. Help me find that.
I guess it comes from what they did on the show, because Lord knows I've seen people be like, they didn't like the women's War Game match. They didn't like the men's War Games match. They didn't like John Cena and Dominic. I've seen people take anything on the show and say they didn't like it. Now, that said, I wasn't blown away or anything Saturday night. I'm not sitting here trying to be like, hey, this was like, oh my God, best Survivor Series ever or anything like that. Yeah. I thought it was fine. It was a fine show. I thought the presentation helped it a lot. Honestly, as for someone who hasn't been terribly into the modern War Games, I thought they did a better job this year with it than they have in the past. Now, that said, I don't know what's up with, we're going to get rid of the shark cages, but instead we're going to have Royal Rumble entrances all of a sudden for the people coming out. That was a choice, and I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it.
That was something in my notes I wanted to ask you. Is like, first things first, is how do you feel about the shark cages being removed? Well, let's also remember the stadium that they're using. Anytime that they do use baseball stadiums, you do get unique and customizable sort of entrances and layouts. Right. I mean, they did Royal Rumble in Arizona. I mean, the list goes on. Every year they utilize at least one baseball stadium. And you knew this one was going to be extra tricky, considering that they needed a little bit more spacing for the ring and so on. So something had to compromise. So here's the first thing I thought. When I heard Triple H say, basically talking about the configuration and how, they had to, really make things unique. Obviously, you think in such a positive way, like, oh, they're going to do something special and different. But in a way, they're like, we probably had spacing issues. We need to try to get as many people as we can get in, but also utilize the things that we need to do. Now, here's the first thing. Did we need the shark cage? I love the comments. I saw people say like they love the theatrics in it. They love the drama that's in it. I absolutely agree. I think it's easier on the women's side to stuff 5 people in there. But I can't imagine the men's with Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Drew McIntyre. These are some
a lot of meat
in there. That's a lot of beef here. You know what I mean? And I get it. I get it. You're missing a part of the presentation there, but at the end of the day, the other compromise is, well, you also get full entrances. I thought the Brock Lesnar entrance was dope, but even more dope is how we got to work that aspect with Roman Reigns and Brock when Roman came out. I love that camera shot of Brock in front of the cage beast. You get the storytelling, right? And the Conqueror coming in and Roman Reigns. So like, I feel like there was a give or take here. Like we got better entrances because of without the cage, but we lost the drama from them being on the cage. And again, beggars can't be choosers. You got a beautiful stadium, a baseball stadium to be in. You got an event in San Diego where there's not many going through there nowadays. And then, yes, it's still a premier city, but like not having a football team definitely hurts the idea of saying that's a place we need to go there for things. So like a whole year is missing events. So yeah, I just see both sides of that. I'm not mad. I definitely do not think that not having the cages absolutely derailed the whole matches itself.
See, here's the thing. Personally, for me, I'd prefer it to be WCW style, and there's no shark cages, but you got both squads out there around the cage at opposite ends, door at each end of the deal, where it's like you got the one group at the one end, you got the other group at the other. They're cheering them on. You still don't know who's going to come in what order, but you got them out there, on the sidelines, almost like it's a football game, where everyone's out there, but they're waiting their turn to come in. You don't got them locked in these cages, but I don't know. The modern presentation is so dependent on entrances and all that I can see why they wanted to do it. And I'll give it a plus in this respect. Because they did it that way, they kind of had people coming out with whatever weapon they were going to bring in. You didn't have to go through all that. They come out, they're digging under the ring. They're trying to get a table in there. They're trying to get the kendo sticks in there. It was like they sped that up. Like when Kyrie came out and she had the chain already with her, I was kind of like, okay, this I'll take because it's speeding things up. We're not having that, oh, they come out, now they got to dig under the ring. They got to find their device they're bringing in. Now they're going to get in the cage. So that part, I thought it upped the tempo, but I don't know. Give me the two squads around the cage yelling at people and causing trouble during the whole match before they get to go in.
I honestly was watching an old WCW War Games, and I guess I completely forgot how fun that was to watch back in the day. So sign me up for that next year, 100%, 100%.
There you go. All right, we want to talk about the women's War Games and how that opened the show. So
yeah, I would love. I think there's a couple of questions here. It opened the show. Was that the right decision?
I would love to see the women close the show as opposed to the men, but we went into this last week on the show. The men's one always seems to have to end up closing because there always tends to be some kind of angle tacked onto it to end the show with. And so that always seems to be the men close because of that. This year, there really wasn't so much of an angle. We had like a little face off, but it wasn't like the year we had CM Punk return after the match. So if there was a year to do it, you could have done it this year. The women could have closed the show this year and it would have been fine. Personally, of the two War Games matches, that's the one I was more interested into going into the show, because I was way more up for the women's one than the men's.
I'm not mad at it. I always feel like the women always really kick off the momentum. And in previous years, I think it has definitively been the right decision, because I think it's very easy to talk about how you want to end the show on a good note. But I also think it's super important to keep the energy in the very beginning of events.
Oh, yeah. You got to start with a bang. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you never not get that. Now, I know we're going to get into the match in a little bit, but I definitely think it was the right decision for him to open it.
Yeah. No. And so that one we had Team Rhea Ripley versus the team with the Kabuki Warriors and Nia Jackson, Lash Legends. So Rhea had AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, and Rhea rounding out that squad. And of course, that man, we knew what we talked last week. Io, of course, is going to have her trash can. She's going to do a spot off the cage with the trash can. We got the Kabuki Warriors in there. Had Lash Legends' first War Games foray on the main roster. And almost Lash Legend held her own. I thought she looked great out there. I don't know. And Rhea and them won. The baby faces won that one. I don't know. I thought something I felt was kind of missing from that match. And I'm not even quite sure what it was, but it left me wanting a little more. But I'm not even sure what.
Yeah. Okay. First off, what did you think about Rhea's attire paying homage to
the Terrifier mask?
Yeah.
I guess not as much tie-in as they've been doing with that. It wasn't a huge surprise. It was a great way to work in the whole case. She's got to have something on her face because of the broken nose. So, hey, let's do a tie-in here and do some marketing. So, hey, why not? Shouldn't be surprised by that at all.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to watch. That's for sure. To see. The other question is, what do you feel about Lash Legends' entrance, sort of presentation, and just overall first time in the jungle?
I think it was a good initial appearance for her, because Lauren, and I think it was very clear with that crowd that a lot of people didn't know who the heck she was. So it was kind of like her having to, establish herself, especially in a big match like this, especially in a match with 9 other much more known women. She was definitely the odd person out in that match. So that's why they had her coming last on her team. And I think it worked fine. I thought it was a good first outing for her. But yeah, I mean, obviously she's got to make her name now on the main roster coming up from NXT. But yeah, that crowd in San Diego, who was definitely a bit of like a, who's that?
Yeah.
But that's how it is sometimes when you come up from NXT. That's not a surprise.
100%. I fully agree with you there. And I thought she handled, which wasn't a home run for her, I would say, in terms of connecting. I thought she handled it very well. I would like to say Nia Jax has a lot to do with that, because that is somebody who gets mixed reactions all the time. And she's from San Diego. So, she probably know her city better than anybody else.
Right.
If they didn't, Lash ain't come out to like a big, she's here. And I thought she held her composure very good and got some good spots in there. So, interesting. thoughts on that. But yeah, I'll tell you what my issue was. And I really hate to say this because I don't really know any kind of more nice or fluffier way to say this, but I love Io Sky as a wrestler. I am very frustrated with the sort of telegraphing of some of the spots. Because I understand safety and I understand you got to set it up and so on, but the camera also has to set it up with you. And you saw there was this long lingering shots where the setup for the execution of the payoff. And because sort of we kind of knew what some of these were, and yeah, they remixed it a little bit, like the what she did, like a not a moonsault, she did like a complete flip, which was dope.
Yeah, more like a swanton almost.
Yeah, but it's, to me, I think, and I feel like this is a great pun, but maybe not. But it is truly about the poetry in motion, like setting it up and then taking time and then just kind of having a little snooze because you know everybody.
Everyone's out hanging around to figure out some way to wait for it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and then I think you really take out like sort of the seriousness in that moment. And I get it; their bodies are still getting put out on the line, and of course we respect that. But when those big moments are truly the big moments that you need to nail. And because we are not only sort of telegraphing that we know it's going to happen, but then when it happens, it's kind of lagging longer than it should. You're missing a huge part of the connection for us, the viewers. And maybe it goes harder in person. I got to kind of think back on that. But I definitely think for us as the viewers, production-wise, it is a drag because we see that camera panning up way up there too long. It's like, there is 9 other people in the ring right now. So
they got to find something to do to fill that time.
You know, and I just think that's where some of the execution was, like the sort of the connection issue was with the execution of certain moments like that. So the match was solid, but it didn't have that pizzazz on it that you are expecting it to have. You cannot sit here and say who stole this match. Doesn't feel like anybody.
Yeah, it was just kind of there. It wasn't bad. It wasn't, not saying it was horrible, but yeah, it was just there. It was fine as an opener to the show, but I think it was very outdone by the next match on the card. Yeah. Dominic and John Cena in John Cena's final pay-per-view appearance, defending the Intercontinental title against Dominic in Dominic's hometown. And then, heck, let's just get right to it. The return of Liv Morgan, which really seemed to just, take that match to the next level, did the title change, got the Intercontinental title off of John Cena, got it back to Dominic, got him and Liv back together. That was definitely, as far as like that hometown crowd and getting that crowd into stuff, that was the match where it was like, oh, now folks are in. Now, it seemed like for a lot of people, that was like their most favorite match on the show, was John Cena and Dominic.
Yeah. I have some problems here. I love Liv Morgan at return.
Let's hear it.
And I think there's nothing wrong with her return. What I find to be a little problematic here is, well, first of all, before I get to that, would you have preferred for John Cena's last match next week in DC? Yep. To be for the Intercontinental Championship, or you just prefer to just be about the match itself, which is basically,
I don't need a title involved in it, personally. Not
how come? I'm just curious.
I think because it's his last match. I think that's the draw, that's the hype, and then I don't need a title clouding the issue where it's like, well, then okay, if he wins, what about the title? Are we going? Is he vacating it or whatever? Is it about him losing it? The title isn't, for me, especially the Intercontinental title. Since we didn't go the route that Crab was here, had talked about when he went back at WrestleMania when Cena won the world title. We were like, oh, he's going to keep it all year, and that's going to be the story. Him trying to leave with the world title. That all went out the window. And remember, I was talking about the Intercontinental title. So I'm like, there's not the Intercontinental. I don't need it in the way. It feels like it'd be an extra piece to the puzzle that I don't really need, in my opinion.
What's funny to me is like I do kind of feel that way too. But then I thought about the idea if he had the title, and obviously it feels like he's going all roads leads to Gunther,
right?
But Gunther is a heel, and Cena trying to do the notable thing. I think I love the idea of that last shot of John Cena happened to put the title around Gunther's waist to crown him the champion, not only to as a sign of respect, but I also think it is the official rub that everybody feels that Cena is to give to the last person he faced, and it has to be Gunther, but not in a Ring of Honor way, but in a Gunther way. Put the belt on me, sir, and then get out my ring. I like that, because now I keep thinking, what is the final shot now? Gunther leaves out and gives Cena the ring, and then that's it. You know,
how they're going to handle it next week. That's a whole.
How they're going to handle that? Like
that is next week's episode. We will talk about that next week.
Yeah, but also Cena had Madison Square Garden. Cena didn't have any trouble with some of his friends running out there to help him. Where they at though? where was everybody
San Diego
this week? Clearly, because Rey Mysterio certainly was there. Saw him on the pre-show and doing stuff. I mean, you can't help but to think, and we see this from both angles. Like, we know when other bad guys, other heels are going to run out there. Why is it unfair to have the same expectation of, like, where are the good guys that's going to come out to save the good guys? You know,
these baby faces don't have friends.
This is Cena. Whole locker room should clear out. You know what I mean? That's you know what? Maybe it's the WCW in me. I know one thing: if you need help, Sting is coming out. You do not have to worry about it. Sting is coming out.
NWO was doing a beatdown. Sting was coming, and Luger and the Giant and DDP were all going to be with him too.
You never ever had to worry. The boys are going to come out there. So that was my only thing. Is like, I thought the match was great. I think now we're going to be using these injury angle things a lot more, because I feel like we haven't seen it now 3 or 4 times in the last few months. Right. But I just was thinking, like, where's Cena's friends at? Like, Sheamus, you just rolled out not that long ago. Like, what's the deal? Matter of fact, Sheamus and Rey Mysterio, y'all knew this match was going to happen, because y'all was there when it got set up.
Rey Mysterio, come get your son. You know, it's like, you're in your town. Come on. That's what this story for me. I just couldn't help but to think, like, I don't mind Dom winning. I don't mind Liv being a part of it. And returning. I do mind that Cena didn't have any of the homies come out when they clearly was out with him just a week ago at Madison Square Garden, just when they set up the match. And I guess for whatever reason, they missed their invitation, or they missed the memo. They wasn't looking. They must have been snacking and catering. I don't know. What was Rey Mysterio doing in his home city that he wouldn't be out there watching the match? Hell, I would have even been mad if Rey Mysterio was ringside for that match watching his son face the greatest of all time in his last PLE. Like, what? Like, what is happening right now? That's my frustrations. Yeah, I don't know. Rey Mysterio is busy signing autographs or something.
Clearly,
something was going on with Rey. Let's jump to the end here. Let's jump to the men's war games so we can keep the show moving tonight. So the men's war games, we had the Vision, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar in his first ever War Games match against CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Roman Reigns. And we went the route here of the Vision and the crew getting the win by pinfall. Had a Braun Breaker getting the win on CM Punk specifically, and a whole lot of Brock Lesnar involvement here, and a whole lot of Roman Reigns and where does he stand, and Cody beefing with people and Roman beefing with people and CM Punk, and, you know, definitely keeping those waters muddy with the idea of WrestleMania down the road and all this. Yeah. But I guess let me throw this out here right now. I think the biggest thing I saw people talking about online from this damn match, people have a damn problem with it. That damn rewind it back and do the yeet entrance all over again in the middle of the match. People were losing their mind over that, and either they loved it or they hated it, but that crowd was all into it. Yeah. And obviously it was just set up Brock Lesnar's entrance, you know, crashing the party and being like, okay, party's over, fun time's over, here comes the monster. That was, you know, I thought that was all really well set up and played out. But I think the thing people are forgetting, folks who are so in their feeling about they're not taking War Games seriously and they're joking around out there. Everyone wasn't in the match yet. So the match couldn't have been won at that point. the match can't end until everybody's in. So them having a little dance break in the middle of things, looking at them they're hitting their taunts, they're hitting their emotes or whatever, while they had the advantage, look at it like that in a video game. It ain't that damn serious.
We all did it. Yeah, we all did it.
They couldn't win the match yet, so it ain't that big a deal, folks. Folks are all their feelings over it.
I firmly agree with your assessment here that I initially had a problem with okay, that they're just milking the hell out of Jey Uso's entrance and crowd involvement. Yeah, they're just spamming the taunt button. But yeah, what a complete, I think it's a coincidental positive for them that they didn't realize how to send the crowd on a high to instantly, I don't know if you either you invoke some type of emotion from them the moment that Brock Lesnar music hit. So either you got a lot of people that's like, oh, this is cool, to holy shit, it's about to get serious, to this is cool. Yeah, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Either way, they did it exactly the emotional payoff. It's movie talk here. You gotta have the
they brought everyone up and they brought them down.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta have that sort of dynamic for folks to be invested emotionally. You gotta have the ups and down moments, right? So I for that, I'm definitely cool with. I would say this match, I didn't mind it at all. I think it's crazy because we usually start talking WrestleMania towards January. I absolutely think this is the first big step in terms of where we're going to aligning WrestleMania matches. And, granted, everybody stays healthy. I think they have a good idea of what they want to do. I want to say, as much as we talked about impacts with Impact. I can't wait to talk that stuff.
Coming up.
Braun Breaker was presented like a true badass, pun intended.
Yes.
And coming out first, I think was great. Giving him some burn, giving him something. He's been in the Wargames in NXT, but he's truly a star. And it's every single time you see him, even as a villain, you see him as somebody to watch. And he's had some great moments. He's even had some campy moments, like when he pulls down the arm sleeve, puts it back up, and then pulls it back down. Right. So, everybody played the video games, man. They're just having their best time out there, and he's still doing it with great, badass composure. I honestly, besides Brock, which, by the way, I'm not sure if it was accurate. You said he's never been in the War Games. I don't know if that's true.
Been in War Games. I don't know. He's been in Hell in a Cell. He's been in Elimination Chamber, but not crazy. War Games proper. Yeah.
They also said it's been 21 years since he's been in a tag match, period. So,
damn, that's even more impressive.
Yeah. But as I said earlier, I love the Roman entrance and how they had Brock in front of the cage. That was very cool. The whole, rewind it back and then Brock music dropping. I thought they did very good. Yeah. Braun Breaker is a star, and that's not an over exaggeration or just commentary from Michael Cole. He's truly a star. You watch the dude, whatever he does in the ring, and goddamn did he not double down on Monday Night Raw this week. So I'm not mad at it. It just sets up things for to come. And it's just, I think it's a little different because I think we kind of look at Survivor Series as the ultimate payoff for the year. But I definitely think this is definitely, granted, we're only 1 month away from the Royal Rumble, but definitely feels like instead of the Royal Rumble being the start, this definitely feels like the start of, I think we kind of have an idea of where we're going with some of these matches going towards WrestleMania. Granted, everybody stays healthy. So not mad at it. Close the night on a sort of a open-ended note where it's left for interpretation, left for them to work some things out, work for some conflict. And ultimately, if they're going to make that promo of everybody being around the poker table, you have to ensure that everybody's playing the game of poker. It has to
have everybody in the mix. Yeah, they got to be in the mix.
You have to. Now, quick question before we move on. Who's the hooded guy? I know what people are saying, but is there any... I just quickly say, I thought it was Sami Zayn. I don't know why.
All these people say, it's Austin Theory. They've been wanting to do Austin Theory and get him in the mix. And I think it's notable that they didn't reveal it on Monday, that they're keeping that dangling. They didn't do the immediate, we're going to tell you who it is. No, So I think Austin Theory is probably in the mix, and he might have even been the one who climbed the cage and was there that night. But until that mask comes off,
Don't matter.
It is in play. It is in play. It could end up being Seth Rollins doing all Seth Rollins moves or whatever. Who knows? They might stretch this out for months. So who knows?
Yeah.
We will see. But yeah, Braun Breaker, you are right on it. It is time for Braun Breaker to take that next step, and he is on the cusp.
And give Logan Paul his love. I know y'all hate him, but the dude he's fully invested, and he adds to every match that he's in. I am a Logan Paul wrestling fan. I like what the dude does with WWE.
There you go. All right, folks. Survivor Series War Games is in the books, so let's do this. We are going to go to our mid-show break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about TNA and their new home, and we'll also talk about NXT Deadline going down this weekend, so stay with us, folks. Your Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. We'll be back right after this.
Looking to get your brand in front of people who eat, sleep, and breathe entertainment? Big Gold Belt Media is the place to be. We're all about reporting on movies, TV shows, conventions, and everything in between. And we want your brand to be a part of the action. Partnering with us means your sponsorships get featured right in the midst of our content. Plus, we're going to hype you up on all of our social media, connecting you with an audience that loves discovering new things from trusted voices in entertainment. We're easy to find. Just look for us on Big Gold Belt on all your social media platforms. Don't wait. Reach out today and let's start building something amazing together. Your spotlight is waiting here at Big Gold Belt Media, biggoldbelt.com.
Thanks for being with us here tonight, folks, on the Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. Each and every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hit that subscribe button. Hit those notifications if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. Get in the chat and all this. We got so much to talk about here in our second half. We are so glad you are here with us. So, this has been a week, and there were rumblings of this. But this was very much one of those things where, like, when I heard the rumblings, I was like, I don't know, man. That sounds like a big move. That sounds like a lot. But I guess I should know by now that it shouldn't surprise me when these things happen.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, especially in these modern times with these modern channels and between streaming and media and the landscape and how it's changed. But TNA is never, ever going to go away. I don't care what anyone says. We have gone from pay-per-view on Wednesday nights to Spike TV to Destination America to that hunting channel they were on for a bit. I think at one point they were on YouTube. They might have been only on Twitch for a couple weeks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Access for the past few years. And now January 15th, 2026, it's going to change again. TNA Impact comes to AMC. I was just like, are you kidding me? I'm between TNA pulling this off, and also there's the other angle of AMC getting into a sporting event, which is just not something they have ever had. They've always been your dramatic shows, your Walking Dead, and that kind of stuff. And now suddenly the channel has Mad Men and Better Call Saul and all that. Now wrestling Thursday nights, 9 p.m. The home of Impact. On AMC and on the app AMC Plus too. So they're getting the best of both worlds in this deal. They're getting the linear channel and they're getting the app Thursday nights from 9 to 11. January 15th is going to be the premiere. I think my biggest takeaway when this dropped on a Tuesday and we started talking about it, I don't see any downside to it for TNA. TNA is like winning across the board on this. I don't see any negatives for that. It's a much bigger platform. And this is like them getting back to when they were on Spike, as far as like being on a major channel that people actually have. They're not buried on Access anymore. They're not buried on that hunting channel. It's like, my God, TNA in 2026 on basic cable again.
Yeah. Shout out to Topanga real quick because I forgot to mention her. So that's it. AMC. I spend a lot of time in the AMC world. One, because big Walking Dead fan. Shudder is also a part of AMC. And God knows the A in AMC stands for Anne Rice because of all of the shows.
Interviewing Vampire. Oh yes.
Yeah. And they're just getting started. I cannot believe that they dabbled into the world of sports. That's it. Not wrestling, sports, period. Right. But we understand that one, sports is very lucrative right now. Major deals are being made for sports, and other streaming services got into sports in ways that you didn't think was a good fit. I remember when MLB went to Apple TV Plus, I was like, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
YouTube Sunday Ticket. Not such a big fan of that initially. And then obviously Paramount Plus, where you can watch SpongeBob and then the UFC in the same blink of an eye. So crazier things are happening right now. So number one, absolutely tips the hat to TNA getting in there, getting the deal done. And I know it's been a sort of a rough, I don't know, what's it been like a year and some change since Scott D'Amore stepped away and all the stuff that kind of happened in the background.
Yeah, they did the whole rebrand from Impact to TNA. Yeah, I want to say that was a year ago when they had the big show with the rebrand, and that coincided with D'Amore leaving, and that was right around like about a year into the partnership with WWE, where it was clear like stuff's happening, and they were making changes.
Yeah,
and I guess this is the ultimate payoff of all.
Maybe, but I will say not a lot of people were a fan of Scott leaving or being pushed out, whatever it was. I don't remember particularly the news, but I love Scott. I thought what he's done with Impact at the time and the resilience that they've had, and at one point having the strongest women's roster, but not just the roster, but the presentation as well too. Like, you got to respect him for what he's done with this brand, and ultimately what he's doing now with his independent promotion, which doesn't look like an independent promotion, because I think it just shows you the brain of him. But I definitely think, looking at day one, he was kind of like, oh, well, this ain't gonna last long, but we'll just keep saying it over and over and over. And TNA will not die.
Never. Never.
I think, kind of looking back in retrospect now, from then to now, what a hell of a ride that they've had. Congratulations to everybody involved. Congratulations to all the folks that stayed on this boat, even though they saw numerous icebergs ahead. And somehow they made it back to their destination of land. And the biggest thing I will say is like the collaboration with WWE. After we seen what happened with AEW, a lot of people was like, oh man, well, this ain't gonna go good. And it's been good, it's been consistent, and it's gotten better and better and better. WWE has obviously gotten talent from them. Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace was obviously makes them roster look good, but also the exposure for TNA and NXT and the wrestlers on each respective brands have been hella storytelling. I would imagine that there needs to be some love for the writers to be able to come together and cohesively tell stories across both brands. So that's right there, tip of the hat in its own. And everybody's winning. And when you say everybody's winning, it ain't about the wins and losses in the ring. It's like, well, let's look what's happened on this roster since then. Jordan Grace, big contract, I imagine. Joe Hendry, household name. WrestleMania, big contract, I imagine. TNA roster. Maybe you didn't know some of these people. Now you do. Santana, yes, he was in AEW, but obviously making the decision to go back to TNA is sort of a dicey thing, because you kind of wonder, well, you're not going to be as popular as you was or get that exposure because of everything AEW got going on. But look at him, household name, and here's the win now, because now everybody collectively on the roster can celebrate that. Not only will they get exposure from the collaboration with NXT and probably get some WWE main roster love too, but ultimately now y'all have your own platform. No competition. They are the ecosystem center, of sports on a major streaming service and television. And at this rate now, the sky is just the limit. They go out there each and every week and get to do what they got to do. So having this deal, maybe does this change how they tour? Does this change how they film? Will they get more exposure across the states now because of it? Who knows? But right now, I can say it looks very, very positive, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen. Also, really, really quickly, The other winners here is NXT, because some of their people who may not have been getting so much TV time now get exposure on cable TV as well too, when they get an opportunity to go to TNA. So the enthusiasm goes both ways. You cannot look at TNA and say that feels like a step down, or that's just a feeder system. That's the ROH of the AEW. Not at all. This is very healthily what a collaboration looks like. And now you see the results coming on both ends, which is funny because I also feel like when Tony Khan purchased ROH and the idea of it being under AEW and the ROH's library was the ROH library. I thought at one point was just used as sort of collateral measure to garner them a big deal for their television deal.
Right.
But obviously that ROH was not a part of the deal at all and still is in purgatory. But I think it's very interesting that even with that how AEW hasn't helped booster up ROH, and looking back to help them get their own separate deal in a way has WWE sort of helped with the exposure and the popularity of TNA to help them get the deal. And I know it's been very, very clear out of their mouth that WWE was not at the negotiation table, but come on now, let's not be idiots. You don't think AMC is looking at what's going on by, well, in a way, we got a backhand deal of some WWE.
Right. Exactly.
Well, too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You know darn well when TNA was working this deal, they were making show. They were showing footage with all the stuff. We've been working with WWE. We've been on their shows. They've been on our shows. This has been going on for over a year now.
They probably got a contract right here that says, and will happen for the next X amount of many years.
You know they were hyping that front and center to get this deal done. They may not have had Nick Khan sitting there negotiating the deal at the table, but you know damn well they weren't being quiet about WWE's involvement in their programs and their involvement with NXT and all this. Now, I'm sure they're like, our guy Joe Hendry, he was on WrestleMania. You know damn well they were hyping that up. You know they did. He only was going to help their damn case.
They had Joe Hendry on that PowerPoint presentation like he was an influencer. They was like, this many followers, this many streams. And it was like, we developed this guy.
His appearance at WrestleMania had this many social media views. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think the big question now is, in a month, when this goes down,
who's going to be on that first thumbnail?
I think that, and just what does TNA come out of the gate with? To hook people, because I mean that first show gonna be in Dallas, gonna be a very big deal. It's gonna be live. They're gonna have a live show that first week. Apparently, it's not gonna be live every week. It's gonna be a mix of live and tape. So I'm guessing they'll probably do like double tapings. They'll do like a live episode, then tape the following one after to save money, kind of like WCW used to do that a lot. So I'm guessing that's probably how it'll end up. But yeah, this is that first show. Going to be real interesting how TNA establishes themselves, because my thinking is when you do something like this, when you get this big of a move, you kind of got to go in with the idea of like, it's not a complete reset, but you got to treat it like we got a whole bunch of new people watching and we got to get them up to speed.
The Netflix thing. They have to treat it like that. They have to treat it like as monumental as WWE treated Netflix. They have to bring out all the bells and whistles. They probably need to bring some legends out. I would say make the set look a little different. But yeah. It's not a complete reset, but it's definitely like we got a little bit of extra money in the bank account. Let's up the ante a little bit on some things. That's how I look at it. So
it's got to be the season premiere. It's got to be your season premiere. They got to come out with something big. Hell, have Mike Santana going for the world. If you want to run back, the whole reason they took the title off Santana so quick is because this deal was happening, and they're like, "Look, we got to run it back." Then I get it. That might suddenly explain why it was. Some people were like, "Why the hell they do? It didn't make any damn sense that you crown Mike Santana at your biggest pay-per-view of the year, build to it for so long, and then undo it so quick." But this might be the whole damn reason. As like, well, you know what? We'll run it back. We'll run it back on AMC.
Like I said, the emotional connection, man. Like at that rate now, you're so emotionally invested because of what happened. So yeah, I fully agree. That is the way to go.
We'll see.
I won't be surprised that AJ Styles make an appearance too.
Oh, they would love that. They would. They want AJ making an appearance. Any appearance they can get him up in TNA while he's still got the boots on, since he's talking next year is going to be it. So, oh yeah, TNA on AMC. I never thought I'd see it. If anything, you're going to have to do some digging around with your connections. I'm very curious what AMC's thoughts are on this. That got them into making this move. It's just not their wheelhouse of like program. So
I mean, and again, I will definitely see who might have a word or two on that. But like I think it's the same thing as the UFC on Paramount Plus. It's not to say that Paramount Plus hasn't had sports, because they do. They have football, but UFC is a more of a it's combat sports. It's more on the barbaric side, and to spend the money you did, you have to be super confident.
Finally. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to be super confident that that's a destination for folks. And yes, the loyalists will go wherever it goes, but I can't see UFC being on Disney Plus. Like that there's no way.
Too much.
There's just no way. Even to the point that Disney Plus took a long time even integrating their Hulu content, because they were night and day. Yeah. But now that it's almost, Hulu's literally almost dead. But look how long it's been since we had Disney Plus. Look how long Hulu has been there. Why would they need to create two different apps of basically content that they all own? Because the aesthetic of it looks different. You don't want to be watching Bluey on one note and the kid flip over the next, and then they're watching that Kim Kardashian show in the next flick. You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah. You may also like, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, when those recommendations come up. Oh yeah. Oh yes. There we go. All right. Well, hey, we got a month till it happens. I'm sure more news will come out.
Congratulations to
now
them,
and about it.
But wrestling is super healthy, and MLW, you are on the clock to see what happens next. Because at this rate now, the world is just endless for any and everybody, man. Anybody, you can figure it out one way or another.
Between MLW and ROH, why ROH has not had a damn thing at all this whole time, is stuck on Honor Club behind, as we always say, the paywall of honor. It's like we haven't heard anything about that ever. About anything happening with ROH.
I don't know. I don't know if Tony Khan is so loyal that he's trying to keep the synergy under Warner Brothers Discovery, or there's just truly been no interest in it. But I can tell you right now, we have a really big discussion coming down the line, especially next year, where we got some revamping of our show. But I got to say, what happens with Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW is going to be really interesting when that check clears for whoever makes the deal. And I've just read today, Netflix has put the big dollar bill up in front of them, and it don't look like anybody's close. So,
all I was hearing was Netflix or Paramount. It was between the two of them.
Yeah,
that's all I've been hearing. And neither one of those sounds like it'd be a good scenario for AEW.
And that's and yeah, that's the very nice way you could put that there. But yeah, big discussion looming whenever that lands. Because but hey,
the chess pieces are they're moving for 2026. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We'll save that conversation for next year. Yes. All right, let's switch gears to this weekend, because we have a show this weekend. Where is this one going on? December 6th in San Antonio, Texas. NXT Deadline is this weekend at the Boeing Center, is where it'll be going down at. And Deadline is sneaky, because this is one of those, it's only been 2 years now. It's only 2 times they've done this. The Iron Survivor matches, which have quickly become one of the better gimmick matches out there. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this show. It's a sneaky good show, because the Iron Survivor gimmick so far, the 2 times they've done it, has worked really, really well as a new, unique match type. That's a lot of fun to watch, where it's kind of part Elimination Chamber, kind of part Royal Rumble, kind of part like a Survivor Series elimination thing. So let's run this down here. We are going to have on Saturday night, we got 5 matches at this point. Ethan Page versus Mr. Iguana for the NXT North American Championship, keeping that AAA influence on NXT, so people don't forget about the AAA wrestlers. A singles match. Oh, there's going to be a grudge match here. Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dame after their whole split that cost Tatum the NXT Women's title. We also have a singles match for the NXT Championship. Ricky Saints against Oba Femi. Oma's still there, so last big show of the year. Maybe this is finally where we get some movement of some sort, but we're running back Ricky Saints and Oba Femi one more time on the final big NXT PLE of 2025. But this show is all about the Iron Survivor matches, so let's run down those. First, the women's Iron Survivor match will have Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, and I've mentioned her many times recently, Kendall Gray, the Evolve Women's Champion, and probably the hottest prospect they have in WWE right now as far as like a fresh face who's truly new to this, only 2 years in, and has just got it. I'm very excited to see how she does in this match. She's truly the wild card in that mix, where it's just like, they already got her on TV. They're putting her on regular NXT TV already. They got her off Tubi and Evolve, even though she's got the Evolve title. They're like, no, they know they got something with her. So it's going to be very interesting how Kendall Gray fares in that. Let's talk about the women's match before we talk about the men's, since that's the deal here. I don't know, that's a loaded lineup there. And the way these work, this is to set up the number 1 contenders for New Year's Evil at the beginning of the year. So whoever wins these will get their title shot to kick off the new year. That women's one, who you thinking?
Jordan Grace.
Okay, Jordan Grace. She's had a lot of shots. So you think this would be she wins this and then they finally go all the way with it?
Yeah, Jordan Grace. Also expect to see her with the title come Royal Rumble, because that's just kind of her mainstay. I would imagine So Ruka will probably get some love in the Royal Rumble as well too. Looking forward. But I can't see nobody but Jordan Grace here. Literally, no one else makes sense. It is about time they signed her, and they kept getting a little closer. And I feel like it's finally time to get the reward and let the roster run through her.
The timing kind of feels right. Kalani's got the Impact title, so they don't need to do that. They've been teasing all this stuff with Soul, and I'm kind of
she had
Soul Ruka feels like it's almost time for the move to happen to move her up. I don't know.
Kalani just lost the title.
Oh, that's right. That's right. She did just lose the Impact Women's title.
Yeah,
that's right. I can't keep track of all these.
But even still,
NXT has so many belts in it, between the AAA belts, the Evolve belts, the NXT belts, the Impact belts. A lot to keep track of. A lot of championships happen through NXT. Okay.
And also, I feel like it's Jordan Grace, but like also kind of look at this, like it's gonna be interesting of these 5 who's going to be sniffing the Royal Rumble and sniffing the main roster. Like Lola Vice has definitely been sitting down here in purgatory for a little while, like semi-relevant, but semi-not. You know,
they've had her almost win it too. They had her almost win recently.
Yeah, she won the Iron Survivor last year, I believe, right?
I don't think so. She was in it, but I don't think she won it.
Wait. I forget. When you win the contract, is what she had.
The ladder match thing.
Yeah.
So she had her title shot recently and didn't get the win. At Halloween Havoc, I think, is when she had her title shot.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, it's easy to see. Everybody loves So Ruka, double champ, so she necessarily doesn't need to be a champ just that quick. I don't know. I see nobody but Jordan Grace making sense here.
We will see. Next week, we'll definitely have a lot.
But also, I see this also as like, listen, they're going to be eyes on this match, and I can see this is going to be a pick of the selection of who's going to represent NXT in the Royal Rumble, and ultimately probably
no doubt
towards their promotion.
Yes, there's lots of eyes going to be on that one between the Royal Rumble picks, seeing how Kendall Gray looks out there in a big live TV match. So there's going to be a lot of people in the back watching that one. People with a lot of power will be watching that one. Let's flip to the men's side, the men's Iron Survivor match for the NXT Championship at New Year's Evil. So in this lineup, we have Miles Bourne, Dion Lennox, Joe Hendry, Leon Slater, and Javon Evans. So we got that Evans and Slater tag team. We got them in there, but they'll be against each other. We got the TNA favorite, Joe Hendry, now that he's fully NXT. Miles Bourne, and again, is another case of like people who've had, like, they've had their shots, they didn't win, but now they're getting another opportunity. They could kick off the year with like getting their title shot. I don't know. We just had that with Javon. Miles had a title shot recently. Joe Hendry's popular as can be. He's had his, opportunities. Yeah, I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think of it?
So Cena put this match together. So there's a little bit of extra razzle dazzle for the people selected here. But I felt like Cena gave a little bit more emphasis on Dion Lennox here. And I think that definitely makes sense considering that Obafemi is 100% losing and 100% is headed towards the Royal Rumble. And that's going to be his debut on the main roster. And he'll probably won't be going back to NXT since then. So therefore, face versus heel, it is literally the only one that makes sense here mathematically here. That's how I see it. And I trust Cena put that extra razzle dazzle on that. And I mean, with Dark Slate 2 and the champions, and I think you know NXT love to make their stables have a lot of gold. It's always been their thing, and it feels like NXT black and gold. So I kind of like this, and I kind of like Dark Slate running shop all the way into WrestleMania season to their big pay-per-view or PLE. So that's how I look at that.
Okay. I even think assuming Ricky Saints retains, then Javon, Leon, Joe, Miles, they're all baby faces. So that is Dion Lennox does stand out there in that respect.
Straight to Ricky and straight to dethrone him. That's exactly how I see this happening in the next few months.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that, but that does make a lot of sense. All right. Well, Saturday night, we will see. We will have a chance to talk about it next week. That's going on Saturday night, December 6th in San Antonio. And I guess kind of in the background here, this might be the last show on Peacock. The whole Peacock situation's kind of up in the air because the word's already out that the archives are leaving Peacock the end of the year. NXT is the only thing remaining there. I'm guessing they're on the same timetable. So something's got to happen. We got to get some news soon about what's going on with what's going to be the home of streaming for these NXT events because they're not included in the ESPN thing. Are the archives going to end up anywhere? Are they just going to migrate to YouTube like they've been doing via the WWE Vault and just exist on that? But there's that's kind of like the looming cloud as the year ends here. That Peacock deal, the sand is running out in the hourglass on that. So I don't know. NXT Deadline. We will see this Saturday. We'll have something to talk about there next week. All right, let's go into the home stretch here so we can get to the entertainment portion of the show. So, folks, those of you who are with us tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, your Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast is streaming live here on YouTube, on Twitch, on X, at the live feed on all of them. And afterwards, the video feed lives on YouTube along with the audio. So if you're interested in the audio version, we got that covered too on YouTube. Got both versions there for you if you came in late tonight or just want to check out the archives. However you want to do it, on the YouTube channel is where you can find the archives of the show. On social media, you can find us at Big Gold Belt across the board, whether we're talking Threads, X, Instagram, Blue Sky, at Big Gold Belt is where you can find us on all the social media platforms. And last but not least, BigGoldBelt.com, the home of Big Gold Belt media, wrestling, movies, comics, and more. Since we have the boss here tonight, let's see. We are fully into the holidays. Stranger Things dropped. Fallout's about to drop. I'm very curious. Isn't that next week? Fallout drops on Amazon? Yeah.
I'm sure Amazon. I'm sure Damien will probably handle Fallout.
Okay.
But
what we got in the mix?
Probably like next week.
Next week, I think. I saw a commercial earlier today, and it sounded like next week.
FNAF 2, Five Nights at Freddy this weekend.
I
I was very mad about it, but that's all I'm gonna say because I know how much I love it. But it's 1,000,000,000% better than the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So an improvement over the first one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very good. Very heavy on the lore. Very good on the jump scares and the horror elements. But I was in that joint with the squiggly eyes. Like I wasn't understanding some of the things that were happening. Like I was like, oh, and people were losing their shit. I'm just like, what I missed? I just saw two people talking to each other. So yeah.
Oh, they got all the inside jokes in there that you got to know your stuff for this one.
And stay through for a mid credit and just some audio at the end. I guess that has implications for stuff. So
okay. Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2 this weekend. All right. There we go. Yeah. So we got some wrestling this weekend. Some non-holiday movies. That's like, I'm like, didn't drop that at Halloween. We're dropping that here in December and during the holidays. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Next week gonna be a big, exciting weekend. We got a show obviously next week, same time. But then we got John Cena coming into the nation's capital.
Right.
So I am beyond curious about the expectations about exactly how they're going to create the atmosphere for Cena in this.
And what that atmosphere is going to be.
Yeah, let's just keep it a buck here. DC is not the biggest wrestling city it used to be. And with it being such a political landscape, I would imagine a lot of those figures will be there. And how does wrestling look with those folks in there where we see happen at the Commanders game? Yep. So I am very curious about the hijacking distractions that could occur during what is the most important match of Cena's whole career, being his final match in a city that's not his home city.
Yeah, we will talk about this next Thursday night. The very unique dynamic of, we know who Triple H be hanging around with. He posts it all over social media.
Yeah,
we know the rumors, and we know how DC itself would react. But also, that said, these tickets are damn expensive, and I would not be surprised if that arena is not filled with many locals. And it's a lot of VIPs and people that flew in, and Lord knows, because we all looked at those ticket prices being local to it and not having to travel for it. And it was like, I'm paying $300 to be up in the 400 level. No. I don't care who's out there. I don't care what the event is. That is too much for 400 level tickets.
Yeah, and we have to talk. Note this for next week. There's been discussions that Cena's match may be first. Is that a good decision?
Today. Yeah. We'll talk about it next week. Folks, thanks for being with us here tonight. We will be back next Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll have we'll have Iron Survivor matches to talk about. We'll have John Cena's impending retirement to talk about. That and so much more. Thanks for being with us. Hit subscribe, set your notifications to know when we're going live and all that good stuff. And we'll talk to you next week, Thursday night, 8 p.m. We will see you then.